Travis Wingate. So I had planned a short video for Thursday because it's Thursday, if you've noticed a pattern, but woke up, as you'll eventually see the clock show the time as the video defuzzes. With this video, Albert Pike is an infamous Scottish Rites Illuminati member. He self-proclaimed himself as such, so it's not speculation. He wrote Morals and Dogma and a letter to Giuseppe Mazzini back in the late 1800s. He talked about the plot to destroy the world and talked about 3 world wars. And I'm here to again go over the 3rd World War with you, to warn all who will listen, whom YouTube will not keep from this video, to warn Mormon, Christian, Jew, Muslim, anyone who will listen, be warned, because while Albert Pike is threatening everybody, and it's being played out right now in Jerusalem. He says the 3rd World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenda of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Do you know what the battle is between in Israel? The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists. And we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity. Put a tack in that. Whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration. Who's the adoration of Christianity? Deistic. Will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. Illuminati, Scottish Rites, Lucifer. Hang on, Mormons, you're not exempt from this. Brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Jews, Muslims, Christians, and atheists, all subjected to Lucifer. Now, I understand that because of your upbringing and your education in religion, you have varying interpretations of what I just said. My having figured out the code from Joseph Smith, as I've been doing all these videos for you, know something a little different. Revelation chapter 13. The beast, in verse 14, makes an image of himself. Gets wounded, but lives. And whoso worships the beast, who gets life, and those who don't worship the beast are murdered. Everybody receives the mark in their foreheads. Anybody know what the symbol of MAGA is? And where they wear it? Remember when Trump said that you had to have an ID to grocery shop? That no man might buy or sell save he had the mark. Identification. To buy and sell. Mormons, what do you have as an identification to get into the temples? Showing that you have paid your dues. What do you think the church wants to do? Was that it? Last night's video, Mike Lee, I was stumped on that, but yeah, the church wants to only hire Mormons. If the church takes over all of Utah to establish their kingdom, who's going to work for them? Only Mormons. So the whole state run by Mormons, they only hire Mormons. See what's going on? I wonder if that was it. And then 666, which is the Roman numerals, IVX, LCD. Section 45, verse 68. And it shall come to pass among the wicked that every man that will not take his sword against his neighbor must needs flee unto Zion for safety. It is understood by Mormons and Christians. It's just understood. Whoops, I don't need to delete you yet. It's just understood by Mormons slightly different, as Mormons add Adam on Diamond, which Nelson has canceled. Zion is Utah, Salt Lake City. No Adam on Diamond in Adam on Diamond. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the Salt Lake Conference Center or Temple or somewhere over there. That's what Nelson's saying. Things have been altered, Mormons. If you've been taught a certain way in the church like I was, it's not the same anymore. But Christianity and Mormons share the belief that Jesus Christ is coming from outer space. I'm not sure if Mormons have the concept of him on a flying horse or not. The paintings that we have is one of him without a horse. Christianity, though, knows of the horse. But he comes over to Jerusalem, destroys the Muslim world, who are attacking Israel, and saves the surviving Jews, converts them to Christianity. Isn't that great? The white Jesus saves the Jews. It comes from Revelation chapter 19, verses 11 through 17. And I saw heaven opened. Oops, it's a sign in the heavens, not a real horse, and a man on a horse. Behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him was called Faithful and True and Righteous, and he doth judge and make war. His name is called the Word of God. This is the destruction of the wicked, as is understood in Christianity and Mormonism. Now, I just went over something with you that contradicts Christian and Mormon thinking. I told you it's a sign in the heavens. Verse 17. On the back of this white horse is he who is like the sun at noonday, and there's an angel standing in him. What happens when something is in front of the sun? You have an eclipse. That's what this sign in the heavens is for the latter days. And the date is 8 April 2024. Do I need to read over Albert Pike's letter again? Mormons, Christians, Jews, Muslims. Do you not understand why they caused this latest fighting in Jerusalem, in Israel? Palestinians and supporters, Muslims, are calling for the Holocaust of the Jews. They're blaming the Jews for this fight. The Jews are saying Hamas is attacking us. The Palestinians aren't shooting the missiles. Hamas is shooting the missiles. Well, where is Hamas? Hamas controls Palestine. Why aren't the Palestinians giving up Hamas so that there can be peace? Instead, the Palestinians are saying, hey, why can't you murder the Hamas without murdering Palestinians? It's because Hamas is using Palestinians as their shield. They're cowards. It's a war tactic so that they can justify the people turning on those who try to eliminate Hamas, because you take out Palestinians instead of the Palestinians realizing that Hamas is using them. And so what's going to happen when this happens, but without the man flying from outer space on a flying horse, or as Mormons may or may not believe, he'll just come from outer space, whether on a flying horse or not. No Adam on Diamond. No saving Jerusalem. Complete destruction, as Albert Pike tells us. Church is still going to exist. They're still going to have conference. Are you familiar with Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball as to which Masonry they were involved in? Did you know they were involved in Masonry before 1842? Which Masonry were they involved in? Do you know there was a difference? Smith Sr. and Hiram Smith were involved in Masonry long before 1842 too. Smith Sr. was dead by then, but see, these are things you do not know because the church won't tell you. Brigham and Heber were Scottish Rites that were infiltrated by the Illuminati that caused the anti-Mason movement in 1826. The Scottish Rites Illuminati were pissed that the anti-Mason movement happened. They wanted revenge on who caused it, who saved William Morgan and burned down the temples. Lo and behold, Heber C. Kimball and Brigham Young found out who. And they did what the Illuminati did to the Scottish Rites. They joined, became popular, rose up in power, took over in authority, and then assassinated the leader. Sound familiar, Mormons? If you're still doubting, you're familiar with the Eagle Gate? Don Carlos is the one who carved that. The son of Brigham Young. Guess what it's a symbol of? The Illuminati. That's why the inverted pentagram was put on the Nauvoo Temple by the brother-in-law of Brigham Young after Joseph Smith was murdered. Where Joseph Smith had an architect for a Nauvoo temple, but it was not finished until 2 years later. And Angel, with 2 L's, was the one who designed the inverted pentagram, because he also designed Salt Lake Temple and the Logan Temple with the inverted pentagrams. That's him. That's Brigham Young. This is why John C. Bennett joined or created an Illuminati order after he was excommunicated and Joseph died. That's why he went to the Danites to be saved from his excommunication. And the Danites wouldn't do it. The devil does not support his own. Danites had other plans. Did I read section 45, verse? Early in the morning. You should be able to see the time by now, I think. And it came to pass among the wicked that every man that will not take his sword against his neighbor must needs flee unto Zion for safety. We already have Zion. Nelson said it's Salt Lake Temple Square. One problem with that. What will the prophets do during this great war all around the world? Around the world, around the world. Section 101, verse 43, talks about a parable. In verse 51, in the parable, the enemy comes by night and destroys Salt Lake City, because it was well understood that the tower is the church office building. And the prophets of Jesus Christ arose and were affrighted and fled. This is why the church is planning to flee, guys. They're making preparations to leave, go to places that will be safe, and even non-extradition places if necessary, so that they can return in 2024 or by 2024. Temple will be finished. The gathering place will be set. As we here in Utah are utterly destroyed, Nelson will bring the survivors from around the world to Utah to replace us. And the doctrine of Lucifer, which is in Mosiah chapter 4, or Moses chapter 4, verses 1 through 4, goes over the details of Lucifer's doctrine. Convert everyone by force into the celestial kingdom. And polygamy was Brigham Young's. That'll come back. So there you go. And the scriptures talk about the war. It's coming. It's this year. It's already begun in Jerusalem. It's divided America. There are people who want to prevent Israel from obtaining further weapons to defend themselves, to keep from being exterminated, as Albert Pike says they will. Muslims are the largest group. Christians are said to be the largest group, but they're fractured. That's why Baptists are not Presbyterians, and they are not Methodists, and they are not Catholic, etc. Evangelicals are the largest group. And none of the other groups are evangelical. Thus, they're not Christian in one unified group. So you might as well just say we're all human, and therefore 7 billion minus those who have died from coronavirus. Did you know Joseph Smith knew about coronavirus? I've done the videos, I've talked about it. It's also in section 45. And there shall be men standing in that generation that shall not pass until they shall see an overflowing scourge, for a desolating sickness shall cover the land. We were warned of this. I've been warning you of this. Israel is a distraction. The enemy is purposely adhering to the Bible for the purpose of showing that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are wrong, and to utterly destroy them all. And Mormons think they're Christian. your current Mormon views will be destroyed. Because in the aftermath, when the church returns to Utah, to Zion, and establish their new world order kingdom of God, they will not be talking about Jesus anymore. They'll just come right out and tell you his name's Lucifer. Because you'll all be dead. So you won't want to complain and threaten to leave the church unless they bring back Jesus. I warned you. This is what they're up to. They will destroy the Book of Mormon. They will prevent anything about Joseph Smith and his records. And that's the other video I have about the big lie that I'll be doing next. Although it's 2, I have 1 hour, and this is up to 26 minutes. So I hope you understand there is no supernatural, non-comprehensible to Mormons deity. And if Mormons think that coming from outer space is somehow in line with the laws of physics, yeah, well, you're going to be disappointed. We're supposed to be the learning of the Jews. And their Christ is not a supernatural being from outer space. He's mortal.